Not good, but better. Hello, everyone, and welcome to try number 2 of our YouTube video Twitch stream thing that we're doing. First time I've ever done something like this. So, this week was a little bit crazy. We had a power outage happen on the day that we were supposed to be doing the battle. Battle got delayed, and I ended up having to do it at my dad's house. And then I had to record it, or battle video it, because I couldn't record it because I wasn't doing it on my normal computer, which wasn't on because there was no power. So anyway, we're back. We're gonna get this to you guys live, post narration. So we'll see how this goes. It's really fast paced. Normally I sit there and think about my moves a lot, and admittedly in this battle I did get rid of all of that, and so we're going to be jumping right into it. As you can see, the Pokemon that he brought: Jolteon, Charizard, Golurk, Tyrantrum, Ferrothorn, and Alakazam. I was really scared of the Conkeldurr. I was really scared of the Florges. Those didn't show, which worked out really well for me as far as like those threats out of the way. So we're going to lead Infernape. I was predicting him to either lead Tyrantrum or Jolteon, expecting my Skarmory, and my Infernape can handle both those just decently well. It is EV'd to live a Choice Specs Thunderbolt from a Jolteon, so I was okay with that. So knowing that, I clicked Mach Punch. If he was modest, max special attacks, Choice Specs, there's a chance it would OHKO, so I figured I'd get the damage off, see what he does, and he clicks Thunder Wave, and I was like, I can't believe he clicked Thunder Wave. But he can't stay in on the Mach Punch, so he has to switch out. And I knew that, so I was like, I'm going to click U-turn, get out of here, do whatever he goes into, and that'll be able to get me some momentum, and I can preserve this priority for later. I knew he had the Golurk, I knew he might go into that on the Mach Punch, so U-turn out of there on that Golurk as it comes in. And at this point, I go right out into my Venusaur, and it's a free Mega Evolution. Golurk really can't do anything to me, does not threaten me at all. So I was like, all right, let's click Knockoff here. We'll see what happens if he switches out into the Ferrothorn or anything. Knockoff's still a decent play. So I click Knockoff, and I was worried about the Assault Vest. When I was making that switch, I thought maybe I should go into my Gardevoir, which could OHKO a Golurk that is not Assault Vested, but it couldn't OHKO a Golurk that was. So I went into my Venusaur to get that knockoff off. He was Assault Vested, so that was a really, really decent situation for me to be in. He can't stay in on this Venusaur. Giga Drain does way too much damage, so he goes onto the Ferrothorn, and I'm like, I know you can't stay in. Giga Drain is way too much damage, so I click Knockoff a second time, predicting that Ferrothorn to come in. It wouldn't have killed the Golurk had he stayed in, and Ferrothorn does come in. I get the Iron Barbs damage, I get the Rocky Helmet damage, but I knock off the Rocky Helmet, and we're in a pretty decent spot where Ferrothorn can't do anything to Venusaur. Ferrothorn doesn't touch Mega Venusaur. So Mega Venusaur gets his nice synthesis up, and he goes for his Stealth Rocks, and I'm like, all right, respect. Ferrothorn set up Stealth Rocks, whatever. My team's not weak to rocks, so not a big deal. It breaks Skarmory's Sturdy, but otherwise not the end of the world. I've got Hidden Power Fire, which gives me a free attack on this Ferrothorn. He thinks I'm going to switch out. I'm not going to switch out. And so the Ferrothorn doesn't want to get a second Hidden Power Fire. I expect that. So I was like, I don't know what he's going to go into, but I'm going to click Knockoff here because there's no way he's staying in. So we get a knockoff on the Golurk. He can't take another one. And so I'm just going to say, let's click Knockoff again. If he does switch out, not a big deal. I outspeed the Ferrothorn and everything else gets knockoffed. If he doesn't switch out, then the Golurk goes down. So Mega Venusaur getting a kill right here at the beginning of week 3. And Charizard comes out. And I sure hope this is recording. I have no idea. But Charizard comes out, and we see a Dragon Dance. And I was a little bit worried about Belly Drum. Didn't really think about Dragon Dance too much. So I click Knockoff to see what item he's got. And he's got the leftovers, and so not a big deal. So he's a little bit bulkier, set, not so offensive. So I'm like, all right, let me stay in. Click Toxic and get some damage off on this thing and some, long-term damage. That Flare Blitz does so much, though. I was not expecting that. So at this point, I had a really tough decision about whether I switch into something to take a Flare Blitz. Nothing really wants to take a +1 Flare Blitz, but I could preserve my Venusaur for Ferrothorn later, but I have other answers to Ferrothorn, so I'm not super worried about it. So at this point, I'm like, let's let the Mega Venusaur go down, and we will get a free safe switch into something else. But then I'm like, oh wait, he's +1. He outspeeds everything on my team. Let's see where he's at with the poison, the Flare Blitz. It doesn't take him out, so I'm like, all right, he's got to take himself down here. And there's only one thing that doesn't really matter on my team at this point, and that's Skarmory. Skarmory does not handle anything. Florges isn't here, nothing to worry about. So So I'm just going to let Skarmory go down, and Charizard's going to get a couple of kills right away, but it's going to take itself out to the recoil. So it does take out the Skarmory and the Mega Venusaur. Not ideal. 2 of my walls, possibly my only 2 walls this week, and that's a problem. So Skarmory goes down. He's going to go out into his Jolteon. At this point, I'm saying Latias is a good switch into anything that he could possibly bring in here, so let's go straight out into Latias. The only thing that would have been a problem for it would have been Choice Scarf Tyrantrum, but I wasn't expecting him to switch into Tyrantrum here with me having my Gardevoir at full health. So he goes for the Shadow Ball. We eat that. We go for our own Shadow Ball, and it's Choice Specs Latias, so we take out the Jolteon. And at this point, I know that nothing really wants to switch into a Choice Specs Shadow Ball. I actually don't know why he went into Ferrothorn here. He's never going to outspeed me. He's never going to threaten me out. If he's trying to get a gauge on what item I have, it's not going to work because I'm just going to click Shadow Ball again no matter what to bluff a Scarf or Specs or anything. Also, I am Specs, so I have to click Shadow Ball again. At this point, I'm like, I need to know is he Scarfed Tyrantrum? Is he Scarfed? And the answer to that question is yes. He's Scarfed and he's Rockhead. I'm like, how do I beat a Scarfed Tyrantrum? I have one answer, and it's my Scarfed Lucario. So I'm going to go straight into it. I OHKO with a close combat if he has no defensive investment, but if he has defensive investment, I don't. So I'm making a decision here, and I say, you know what, let's go for the close combat. I know he has the Alakazam. I know I have Crunch. I could just Crunch the Alakazam and take it out, but close combat's the safest play. So I go for the close combat here. Now at this point, if this is a Choice Scarfed Alakazam and a Choice Scarfed Tyrantrum, he wins the game if I stay in. So I am like, I could stay in, just close combat a few times and win if he's not Scarfed. If he is Scarfed, I lose. So I'm going to switch out, knowing that this is the safe play, that I can guarantee myself the win as long as that Lucario can OHKO the Tyrantrum. Infernape's not doing anything for me at this point, so I'm going to let him get that Psychic off. At this point, I still don't know if he's Scarfed, so I have to figure out if he's Scarfed or not. And so I'm going to go out into the Gardevoir here. And Gardevoir can take any one hit from this thing. If it's not Scarfed / Specs, it can take a Life Orb Shadow Ball, not a problem. So we are going to be able to handle the Alakazam no matter what. And we know the Tyrantrum will, if it has no defensive investment, go down to Lucario. So we're in a good spot here. And Moonblast's going to come out, take out the Alakazam. And we can't switch out into, we can't hard switch into Lucario. So Tyrantrum's going to come in. And that's pretty terrifying because he shows that he has the Earthquake. And Earthquake OHKOs Lucario back if Lucario can't manage to get the kill with close combat. So it all comes down to whether or not a close combat from a Lucario can OHKO this set of Tyrantrum. And does he have defensive investment or not? Really comes down to that. And how much does he have? Because with my investment, I do minimum 110% to an uninvested Tyrantrum. So if he has enough investment to make that a possible not one-hit KO, then I have problems. But in fact, Lucario gets a crit. It doesn't matter how much defensive investment he has. I have no idea if that mattered. It really kind of comes down to whether or not he had that investment. And we end up picking up a very tight 1-0 in Week 3 of the TBL. I don't think I mentioned who we were facing because this is such a chaotic thing for me to do this live. So you guys can see the chat on my Twitch channel live. But this was against Alex, or HeffNastyy, coach of the St. Louis Zards, formerly the Anchorage Articunos, formerly the MK Don fans. So this team has gone through a couple iterations already in the first 3 weeks, and we will be 3-0 in the league, and I will see you guys next weekend for the team builder for Week 4 against the Philadelphia Fions. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye. Okay, great. Done. Resolved. Needed to do that. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream.